speaker at 2 o'clock, Barbara Guest from Transform the Science of Spectacular Living.
Excellent.
So everyone give her a warm welcome and let her do her thing.
Thank you. Well, thanks everyone for being here. We're going to chat today. We're going to get to know each other and talk a little bit about hopefully the things that really matter. But I first want to just announce or tell a little bit about who we are. So my name is Barbara Burgess, and I work for Wright, which is a transformative education company. So what the heck does that mean? Wright really focuses on helping people live spectacular lives, as Autumn mentioned. And really what that looks like for us is we want people to have a great life in all areas of their lives. So a lot of times when you're learning new things, people will focus on one area. So let's make your business great. Let's make your relationships great. Let's make X, Y, and Z great. Well, we kind of go about it in a different way. We turn things on their heads. So what we care about is we want you to be the best you can be. And then that'll translate in your job. It's going to translate in your relationships. It's going to translate wherever you are. So that's who we are, and I'll say a little bit more about that in the end. But the reason I'm here and the reason this matters to me personally is I believe that inside all of us is greatness. I believe that that's sort of our divine birthright, that we have something important to contribute, something important to give in the world. And I think a lot of times in our world, in our community, it's not always what people think it is. So too often we're focused on a particular job, a particular accomplishment, a particular revenue we're going to get to, a particular something that if we achieve that, then what is it? We'll be happy, life will be good, whatever it is. And so we spend our lives a lot of times chasing those things, and they look different for everybody. And from our philosophy and perspective, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having goals. There's nothing wrong with chasing things, but to what end? And really, what's driving that? What's the fuel underneath that? Why are we going after those things? And can't we just meet those directly? And so, part of what we're going to talk about today, and you guys are going to engage and interact with me, right?
Yep.
Right. Yeah, we're going to have some fun. It's good response. So, but we're going to talk about what is that so that underneath, because really this event today, Unify Rogers Park, is really about connecting. It's really about bringing people together. It's really about the importance of community, because that's the game. Us as human beings on the planet, remembering we're human beings on the planet, getting to know each other here, that's the game. And the reason that this was founded, there was a need to have businesses connected, to have people connected, to have a community come together. And so those relate to the things that are really fueling and driving us. It's just we kind of get a little confused sometimes with what's up above that. And so at Wright, we've studied people. We have people who've gone through our programs. We do training and weekend trainings and individual personal development coaching and courses in a huge variety of areas. But what we really focus on is the individual and how can they live the best life they possibly can. And as we were doing this, we discovered that there were some people that somehow achieved above everybody else, that really had more happiness, more success in all areas of their lives, and we studied them to figure out what the heck are they doing, what do they have, what are they making, creating, and how can we learn that for everybody else. And so we studied that, and we came up with a 6-phase process out of that. Dr. Judith Wright and Dr. Bob Wright are co-founders, and that's what's in the book. I'm not going to go into all of that today, but I want to talk about 2 of the important phases, and it's related to what I was just talking about. But the first thing that we found for every human being, no matter what, if they were in that sort of elite achievement, meaning happiness in all areas of their life, success in their business, etc., they were able to get in touch with what their deeper yearning is. And so that's that core yearning that we all have underneath everything. And so as we were talking about, I want my business to succeed. Okay, so you want your business to succeed, right? So that.
I'm kind of on the fence about it.
Well, we'll talk about that. That's a different kind of coaching session. But at some level you do, right? You want that success. Well, at a base level, I want to eat. I want to be able to pay my rent. I want all those kinds of things. But why else do I want my business to succeed? And so when we're looking at that deeper yearning, what's the so that under that? Well, I want my business to succeed so that, I can take care of my family, my kids, myself, etc. Okay, so you want to do that so that. I want to do that because that feels like an integrity thing to do. as a man, as a woman, as a human being, that feels like responsibility. Okay, so you want to take that level of responsibility, so what? You know, so you just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper, and what's the thing underneath that? And we get down to it, you know, there's core yearnings that we all have, and there aren't a lot of them. I mean, we share them in common, and it doesn't matter what your race is, what religion you were raised with, if you were born on the other side of the planet or not, we all have these things in common. And if you get underneath it, we all yearn. It might be to make a difference. Maybe we yearn to make a difference. It might be that we yearn to exist, to just be seen in the world at a very primal level. I want to be seen for who I am. I yearn to express myself through your albums and the music and getting word out in that way, you know, through technology, whatever our passions are, but we yearn to be seen, to exist, to be heard, you know, to love and be loved. Those are the prime things that are underneath a lot of the other activity we do. And so if we can start to identify that and we start to really understand that that's what's fueling a lot of our activity, well, the beauty of it is we can go and meet those yearnings directly. We don't need to wait till a business succeeds, right? We don't need to wait until the album hits. We don't need to wait until whatever the next piece is, till I got my master's degree. We don't have to wait for those things to meet that deeper yearning. We can go at it directly. Because if you think about those yearnings that I talked about, that yearning to exist, you know, rather than walking with my eyes down, I can make eye contact and say hello and be seen, you know, and take it in. Don't just take it as we were talking about taking for granted things that you have even in this community. It's so easy to take things for granted. Well, we take for granted right now that we're all in the room together. We don't know what the happy accident was that threw us all together, but it's a beautiful thing, right? All different human beings, all different things that we want, all different things that we hunger for. Let's not waste it, right? So if I can be in touch with that yearning to exist, then I can see the kind look that Autumn gives me from across the room. And rather than dismissing that and saying, well, she's just being nice or she does that to everybody, I can actually take that in, you know, and feel myself be filled with it and feel myself be nourished by it. I can take a conversation I'm going to have a little bit deeper and understand what does somebody else care about, what matters to them, you know, what gets them up in the morning, you know, have sort of that deeper level of connection. So if I can go about the same things that I'm doing, but I can do it for more of my deeper yearnings, then I don't need to wait for all those other things. And it's amazing what can sort of happen out of that. You realize that, you know, we're running through our days on autopilot a lot. You know, I've just been noticing for myself lately, just really making contact with the people you pass on the street. It's unbelievable how little we do it. And God bless technology. I'm a techno geek, but in this day and age, we're all walking like this, right? You know, I mean, you're sitting on the train where people sometimes would strike up a conversation and we're all down here, you know, and now even at a dinner table, you know. And I'm not anti-cell phone. I love technology. I love all of that stuff, but am I willing to be aware enough to realize there's actually a human being next to me, you know? I have a joke, whatever your spiritual beliefs are, a joke that, you know, I think God keeps overpopulating the planet until we finally bumped into each other so much we can remember we're here together. And we might want to connect and do something cool, you know? Because, you know, I believe that, you know, we face a lot of challenges. We face economic challenges and world climate challenges and all those kinds of things. I think we can solve them. You know, I think if we could sort of get a little bit more conscious and wake up and work together, there's lots of things that we can do out of that. You know, but are we willing to, you know, allow that deeper yearning? And you know, I think in our day and age, it's not cool to talk about this stuff. You know, we do corporate consulting and training and all kinds of things that way as well. You know, and you have to pitch it from the perspective of how the business bottom line is going to be influenced. We're having an event, we left flyers here for it, with Ari Weinswijk, who's the founder of Zingerman's Deli. He started this tiny little deli in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and it's now a $46 million community of 8 businesses. And I say community because his whole purpose was anybody can come in off the street, and if they so desired, could learn the business well enough, they train them from the get-go to work their way up, and if they had an idea someday, that could be another business that was viable, and they learned themselves, they could become part of that community of businesses. Yes?
So basically they would let them in on kind of a, for lack of a better word, kind of let them in on the ground floor?
Basically, anyone who started there, it's a deli, right? Anyone who started there ordering sandwiches, they started training right away about the whole business. They let them in on their numbers, they let them in on the goals, so rather than just treating them sort of like a functionary in their place, they looked at everybody as trainable to someday do something great.
Huh.
And they treat people that way, and then it gives, so, you know, just a couple things about him and them, they, despite economic challenges, have continued to have their same growth curve they've had, which has been exponential over the years. In this day and age, that's unbelievable. he was coached to expand into multiple other, you have a great thing here, let's make it nationwide. It felt not right to him. So he kept things local in Ann Arbor and built the businesses and the communities around there. He just broke a lot of the rules that people say about your businesses and stuff, but because he had higher values that he was orienting to, which was the empowerment of the individuals, creating a community of people who contribute to each other. So I think there's probably great possibilities for all of us if we can start to learn and tap that and sort of fuel that within each other. And then I'm just going to say one other thing related to this kind of 6-phase process, which is that first part is that yearning. So can I identify that yearning? As I even go about my day to day, you have a job you might be doing later, can I be in touch with that as I meet the people that I'm with? And then the next step on that is engaging. Am I willing to engage where I am? Similarly, I think a lot of us walk around, if you've ever sat in a meeting as a hostage, you are not engaging, right? If you've ever sat there resentful as the black cloud that pulls the room down, and I know we've all been guilty of that, right? You're not engaging. Because if you were engaging, you might take the risk to speak up, or to shift it in some direction, or to say, I disagree with that, and I think we need to head here. Or, sometimes just the lack of engagement to zone out. If you're going to zone out and do something, go somewhere else. But otherwise, be there. Be where you are and really engage fully. And, that's hard to do. I'm a mom of 2 kids. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And, they're so present. They're so right there in the moment. They don't go anywhere else. They don't have the business to think about yet. But it's hard to notice just to keep yourself really present with them and their needs and demands and everything that's there. And then you just realize how out of practice you are of being present wherever you are. But if we can touch that deeper yearning and then engage in a meaningful way, again, we're on a whole completely different trajectory. We might be going about the same job. I think a lot of times we think, oh, if I switch to this job or I do my business this way or I make this kind of shift, then things will be different. No, they aren't. They're not going to be different. You're taking yourself to the next place. And so you might work into some level of finance or happiness, but you're going to have the same stuff come up that came up. So that's the kind of thing we want you to get sort of more in touch with is, can I be in touch with those deeper yearnings? And then can I engage more meaningfully where I am? And that's possible for all of us, and it's possible at any point in time. And so I'm going to say just a little bit more about a few things we have to offer, but I sort of want to give you an assignment or challenge for the day or opportunity for the day, which is whether you're going to be here, at the networking and meeting other people, or you're going to go off to serve other clients or to pitch business or to be social, can you be a little bit more in touch with that? Can you recognize